But let's go ahead and kick the second match off. This is the second semifinal between RXS, aka Ricky Stacks, and Lokenze. So, Mathwiz, would you care to do the honors?
Here we go. The action resumes. Starting it off in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Tetris. And we love you too, Lokenze. Alright, so here we go.
Yo.
Chaos continues here.
Talk to us about these players. What's their story?
Oh, jeez. This, like the last one, so much I can say about these two here. On your left, again, Lokenze, a player who maybe wouldn't stand out normally from the pack. He only recently got 900k here, so entering as the lowest of the 4 PBs, which even that feels insane to say, but
Right.
Lokenze is sort of been, we talk about the spirit of DAS, the spirit of Tetris. In my mind, Lokenze is the spirit of chaos. He can do it all here. He's been starting to dabble a little bit into the rolling arts. I'm pretty sure he's full DAS for the purpose of this match. But he is seemingly, and this is going to be the thing I say with RXS2, has sort of that voodoo magic, and that seems to have impeccable gameplay and can survive the bad seeds that take out a lot of his opponents here. So Lokenze, maybe not the flashiest of gameplay, but when it comes to the moment, he's risen up to the challenge time and time again. But that's also something I could say about RXS here. This man is just dominant wherever he's gone. He went undefeated in his CTL Div 5 season. Both he and Lokenze were runner-ups of the CTM brackets they played in the past month. But RX is sort of just becoming a bit of lore here in having certainly high career winning percentage, of certainly high elo, and he's backed it up to his 19 survivals off the charts. And now he got the max out to go along with all those other accolades. But at the end of the day, this does feel like the joke, the battle of voodoo magic here. Who has the luck to carry them through, and who has the skill to finish it out? We'll find out within the next 3 to 5 games.
Yeah, I am curious. I know that both these players have, especially for the PBs, particularly noteworthy elos. I'm trying to find the elo rankings. There we go.
Right, yeah, I shouldn't overlook Lokenze. Like, he's at least assuming everything's up to date, the second highest elo for a non-max outer, behind I think Kibby Bites.
Where was that? There's like a spot you can see all the different. Oh, there it is.
So far in this game, 235 for Lokenze, 221 for RXS, so barely a Tetris separating these two right now.
Yes. Very, very close matchup here. Good simul Tetris for both players. Pretty fantastic. I did manage to find that elo rankings chart. The highest active no max, which RXS was on for a long time, dominated for actually quite a while. No longer on that one, but currently Kibby Bite is number 1 at 1599. Is Kibby even active anymore? Anyways, Lokenze is number 2 at 1535. And someone else you might be familiar with, Mathwiz, 3rd at 1507.
Gotta end up there.
Yeah. And then the highest active no 1.1 is RXS at 1821. Second place is 1689. And the highest active no 1.2, again, RSX at 1821. Green Tea, 1750.
Yeah. We say a lot of stuff about elo. I personally feel like it's maybe a bit overemphasized, but I think in this case it does exemplify that time and time again in comp, these two are just able to rise up to the challenge. They're able to go toe to toe with pretty much anyone. They don't care who they play. They're up for the challenge.
Green Tea does not have a 1.2. We did confirm that last week in CTWC, as Green Tea did make an appearance there in the silver bracket. Very shy. I don't think that Green Tea goes and grinds for a 1.2. Green Tea is a 1.2 capable player, but also plays a lot of different kind of Tetris, and also, has a life, so probably doesn't sit there and grind for a 1.2. 378 to 282, so Lokenze has taken a little bit of lead as Arxis has struggled a bit trying to stay clean.
Yeah, maybe some indecisiveness here on RXS's end, but there's only so much more he can do now, because transition to 19 speeds just a few lines away here, and this could be a bit of an interesting board for RXS to go in with.
Yeah, it should be good. This is good. A very RXS transition, one could say. 297. And Lokenze looking to transition here in one more burn. Gonna hold out for the Tetris, does get it. Gonna go in at 433. So this match will be, or this game will be decided in the 19 speeds. And this is where I think personally, for both these players, it'll be interesting to see what happens, because well, it's always interesting, but both these players are very capable DAS players in level 19, so this is going to be quite the deficit to make up. But RXS has already cut that lead down a little bit, at 376 to 443. There's another Tetris there for RXS. Now cut that lead. Is crossed over the 400 mark, so already has over 100,000, and it's only level 21. 100,000 in the 19 speeds. So again, Ricky kind of pouring on the jets here in the post. Now less than a Tetris away, as Lokenze is at 455. 438 for RXS.
Here we go. This is a danger center well set up here for RXS.
It is, but gets it anyways.
Oh my goodness, making it look so easy here. Again, this is a full DAS battle between these two.
Right. These are that was a high setup for a DAS center well. And it's gonna maybe set up for another one. Now I'm gonna go ahead and take the triple down. 488 is now in the lead, was down over 100,000 points going into transition, and is now in the lead, 490 to 476, as Lokenze has been just staying safe and staying near the bottom of the board.
Here we go, already halfway through
Yep.
19. He's at
Halfway, and finally halfway to a max for basically both players.
Yep.
Lokenze's going to start to go aggro. Does pay off on that one. Level 24 Tetris to go to 512. It is less than 1,000 points difference between these two players in the level 19 speeds. RXS's board starting to get a little dirty. Gonna take some flat burns there. Good job bringing this board back down. Has a square dependency. Gets the square set up for a Tetris. Where's the bar? This is getting kind of high for RXS. Does get the bar. Has put a couple holes in their board though. 555 to 552. As Lokenze did manage to score there in level 25. Oh, RXS's board getting a little messy. Still doable. Long bar dependency gets filled. 572 to 591. Go ahead.
RXS is about 10 lines ahead of Lokenze right now.
Oh my gosh,
so
607 Tetris level 28. Level 27, 593 for Lokenze. Both these players look destined to have to get to the kill screen. RXS doing what they can to get another. Tetris has room for one more. No burns left.
I think RXS has to go for the Tetris because Lokenze still has 12 lines
Oh
in hand. And
no,
Lokenze's back in the lead again.
649 is not going to be enough as Lokenze pulls off the Tetris level 28. 667 has room for one more. There's one more. 700k. What a comeback from RXS, but Lokenze stays the course, stays clean, gets just enough score to win game number 1.
Alright, the chaos continues, starting off in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's see, Tetris.
I was seriously expecting this to be done around now, and we're only game number 2 into the second of 3 matches. Oh my goodness, these players are playing way too good. It's almost like they are in the finals of the Sub-Maxout Cup or something.
Funny how that works. RXS noted this in chat, but this is the 5th time he and Lokenze are facing each other, 6th time for counting non-ELO matches as well. Lokenze has never beaten RXS before, although it's also worth noting the majority of those matches happening while RXS was still in TMP, so a lot of time has passed since then. The two players have grown by quite a bit. I do think it's interesting to see that rivalry within this.
Yeah, I actually didn't realize they hadn't played in so long. You know, we do a lot of little things. Probably, I don't know if they've managed to play in maybe the TNP show, perhaps, kind of informally or something. But yeah, it's been a long time since RXS has been in TNP, so that has been a minute. And Lokenze has grown a ton as a player in the last 4 or 5 months, so.
Very true. What was worth liptoneq was 2-0 versus the Silar prior to the SMC match, now 3-0. So.
That was a crazy close match. Well, 88,000 for Lokenze and 75,000 for now 98,000 for RXS. So both these players have kind of taken the conservative route once again. The seed maybe forcing their hand a little bit.
Possibly.
I have no way to go view their streams to look at the pieces.
Let's see.
Which is one of the downsides to just seeing their Nessus Champs restream.
I probably glance over at my end. Oh, never mind. Wait, they're not live.
Yeah, again.
Most have it.
Yeah. 149 now. There's 172 for RXS. So Lokenze now in a small dig. This should be relatively clean, although there was no good place for that S. So this is going to turn into a little bit more dangerous dig now, actually needing a long bar. No long bar in sight. Lokenze's going to top out early at 143. That board went south quick, and RXS is good for game number 2.
We counted also games 3 in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Tetris.
Invite your fan club to the finals. I mean, what do you mean inviting them? Everyone's welcome to join. This is just a public Twitch channel, so of course, unless you mean something else, Lipton, I don't know what you mean, but of course people are always welcome to come watch more Tetris and chat.
Yes, just don't flood the chat with cat emojis. So was curious, since obviously winner of this match is going to have to take on liptoneq here, so I was curious to see what Lipton's record was against these two. And as it turns out, and Lipton can correct me if I'm wrong here, if the database is wrong, but he has played RXS exactly once before. It was in CTM Community Tier 2 back in February, which liptoneq beat RXS in a decider at that time.
Oh, wow.
And he's played Lokenze exactly once. It was not an ELO match, it was on Tetris friendlies, but he beat Lokenze 3-1 in that matchup.
Wow. So once again, don't sleep on Lokenze is what I'm hearing.
Well,
I'm sorry, on Lipton.
There's a preferable opponent here, if you are Lipton, because he's taken them both on before, but also...
No. A little bit of a problem on Lokenze's side of the board there. Gonna go take a Good double. Okay, exposing one of the nasty holes that was causing or making this dig just take longer, so almost clean. Would like a long bar to clean this up. This would be a dirty left well for Lokenze and gets it. 111,000 to 147,000 for RXS. And is clean again. So board's looking safe again. RXS with about a 2 Tetris lead. So you were saying about the matchups between these players and potentially Lipton?
Yeah, well, I mean, either way, Lipton doesn't have extensive experience against either. Lipton did correct me to say that he also faced RXS in the Adass Champions League preliminary once. Which RXS beat him in that 4-3. So apparently it's always been a close match.
Nice.
Whenever Lipton and RXS face off. And then no doubt it would be a chaotic match if it ends up being Lipton versus Lokenze.
Noticing a lot. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say right now, at this point, it looks like it's anybody's match for the taking.
Yeah, currently strong lead though for RXS at 242 to 168 for Lokenze. And I've really been digging the double well there. The double wide well for RXS has been very consistently setting it up and then kind of burning into Tetris readiness, which obviously is not in the meta as much these days, but can still be very effective as a way to just ensure you're never really in that much trouble in comp. And both these players play so similarly that it's probably honestly a pretty safe bet, which is what RXS is banking on with a lot of these double well setups.
Yeah, and these are both players who've really honed in their fundamentals, and so they can still have shaky moments like anyone else, but time and time again, they know how to survive, and we saw that on full display in Game 1. So they now both know that both players can take this the distance if they need to. And so at that point, get back to the mind games. Like, how do you approach this? Do you go over aggro here? Do you wait to see if your opponent makes a mistake? It's always the question.
Exactly, yeah. It is interesting in the mindset because they are so similar players. Their play styles are so similar. How do you approach playing a mirror of yourself? You know, and that's the question. Right now, RXS opting to play the double wells, play safe, play clean, always be in control of the board, currently at 368 to 275, so maintaining that 4 to 5 Tetris lead now for a while. Both players kind of mired in a little bit of a drought. RXS able to weather it a little bit better as now Lokenze is in a little bit of a dig situation. But should get cleaned up very quickly. Is now set up for a Tetris. 285 hanging out, gets a long bar to go to 308. We have crossed the 100 line mark, which means we are fast approaching the level 19 transition. You've seen these players play a lot. What can we expect at transition from these players? Well, we guess we got a preview of it in Game 1, but...
Yeah, well, it's tough to say here. I think if I'm not mistaken, Lokenze has stated your Tetris philosophy is a little bit for his approach to 19 here. And, you know, we certainly see both these players take advantage of the scaling here. You know, the pressure might be maybe a little bit on Lokenze since he is trailing us so much right now, but I think both players will certainly wait it out, look for the right opportunities, but you know, they won't be afraid to take the doubles and triples as need be because they know how valuable those Tetris are going to be by the time you get to level 24, 25.
Yes, we are transitioning in here for RXS 518, so very solid pace here for RXS, and 386 for Lokenze. Siler noting that is very not an RXS pace for RXS. Maybe a little bit more of an RXS pace, ironically, for Lokenze.
Yeah, but again, even being this far down, all it takes is your opponent to get into a dig, and then you just get a couple of well-timed Tetrises, and suddenly back to basically a tie game.
I have seen actually quite a few matches where both these players being way down, their opponent tops out, and they both complete the chase down because they're both very capable 19 players. And survival being key to their style of gameplay.
Both players a little bit of an awkward board right now.
Yes, 158,000 point lead though as we head into 22. Lokenze's just about clean here. A few good pieces away from being clean. Is now clean. Love to fill out that left side though. Go ahead and fill out the right side first. Gonna set up for a left well. Okay. Taking the safe smart burns here.
Which is good because there was a drought there too.
Yeah, and Lokenze gonna go ahead and just build on top of that left well hole. Maybe bring it down all the way back to the bottom. 183,000 point lead for RXS here. Is set up for a center well. Gets it! 644 now for RXS. Set up for another. Gonna get another one to go to 674. Lokenze still clean, still surviving here at 437, but is down 235,000 points. And there's a triple for Lokenze. Down 7 Tetrises though here in level 24, now 25 for RXS at 710. What is going on RXS side of the board? Just Tetris after Tetris here. There's a Tetris for Lokenze to go to 480. 741 for RXS. Oh my god, he is going so aggro. He didn't take the triple there. He set up for the Tetris. Okay, we'll take the triple now. There's another Tetris for Lokenze though here in the level 26. 544. This is actually really good post so far from Lokenze, but is down 6 Tetrises. Oh, that was a dirty setup there for Lokenze. 3 off the bottom center well, but had to burn it down. Gets the bar all the way left. Gets the bar all the way right. Oh, misdrop.
It was fully clean. There was another drought there, so there just wasn't anything.
Oh, 555 will not be enough. It was a heroic post, but will not be enough as RXS is about to pass my, or get close to my PB. At 815,000 into 28. What a game from RXS, though. What can you do?
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Tetris.
Lokenze asking chat, should I be Div 5? Well, I mean, basically you have to earn your way in just like everyone else. But I would say the way you've played over the last month and a half or so would indicate to me that you are certainly capable of playing at Div 5. We'll just leave it at that. And anyone who's watching would probably agree with that.
Yeah, I think it's all subjective personally. Like,
yep.
People will say that there are seen Div 5 players who play like TMP Gold players, seen TMP Gold players who play like Div 5 players. So, and even then, some days can be better than others. That's why I had such a hard time personally trying to project how things would play out at CTWC, because it's like everyone's capable of having that magical run. We know what their ceilings are. We know what their potential is. The question is, when the moment arrives, and when the spotlight's there, who ends up showing up? And so we know CTWC out, but
spoiler alert, yeah. Yeah, we saw who showed up in CTWC. Let's just leave it at that, because again, I love stats, don't get me wrong, I enjoy that, but I think sometimes there's a bit of an overemphasis of it in the community, to the point where it feels like, well, why even bother to compete? You have like almost no chance because you're not one of the top 3 players or whatever, right? As we see time and time again in live events or otherwise, you still gotta play. You still gotta win. It doesn't matter how good your elo is or how good your record is versus their opponent. You gotta show up when it matters. And for me, the validating thing about things like, you know, CTWC and the results of CTWC is that, you know, the stats didn't really predict garbage, to be honest. And I'm very glad there were so many players who, quote, over exceeded where they were supposed to, like, in theory, supposed to go. But the truth is they were supposed to get exactly where they got because they got there. So no offense to stats, but I love watching Tetris and seeing what happens. So it's good to see the players, you know, proving the numbers wrong at times, and just, you know, playing the matches, which is what it's all about. Watching good Tetris play.
I think being exemplified just as well here because, you know, these, for all of the probabilities, and you can argue the game of probabilities, Lokenze and Arxis don't care what the odds are. They're going to go all out every time. They're just going to show up when it matters. And with that being said, Lokenze back to the wall here in a must-win Game 4 situation is showing up with this lead halfway through 18 speeds.
Yeah, 257 to 216, so Lokenze off to a slightly faster start here. 1 to 2 Tetris lead. And the line count's the same, so that lead is in fact accurate from pace perspective or otherwise. Ricky Stacks kind of getting a little excited there. Lokenze playing a nice steady game here. Both players playing a pretty steady game, honestly, but obviously there's probably feeling a little bit of pressure when you're behind. Like you gotta, you know, catch up, right, somehow.
Yeah, well, maybe not so much for these two, because again, I think they do exemplify that necessary trait that really doesn't get emphasized enough.
I agree.
Being attached to patience.
Yep.
You have to wait for the right moment. Like, it might take until level 26 for one of these two to come out, but hey, if it does, then only needs like good 20 or 30 lines at that point.
And these players both are kind of exemplifying actually my style of play as well, the way I want to play, but they just do it better, which is to say, you just need to be patient and be safe, stay alive, right? And I will say that it's as a result of both that style of play and watching players like this play, I do have to watch myself as a restreamer and how I commentate matches, because I think there's a trap that commentators fall into, which is to say, oh, they're down 3 Tetrises, they're gonna have to turn on the jets here sometime soon. And sometimes it's not true. It just flat out isn't true. I mean, obviously it depends on your opponent and how they play, but when there's a lot of Tetris left to be played and a lot of runway to catch someone if someone makes a mistake, that's not necessarily always true, you know? So these players exemplify that, I think, to a T.
Even now, we're about 10 lines away from 19 speeds here, but in the grand scheme of things, we're only just over halfway to 29, so sure, things are about to get more difficult, but there's still shockingly large runway left to work with.
Yeah, and it's still anyone's game, as there's only about a Tetris and a half difference here, 418 to 381. And it looks like there's going to be a little bit of a dirty board here for RxS as he goes in at 384, very RxS transition. S flat, beautifully executed there from RxS, going to go ahead and take the triple. Now set up for a bar in the middle of a drought, though. 31 pieces, and does get the bar in level 20 to go to 421 now. Lokenze admired it in that same drought now at 450. Not set up for Tetris, so won't matter as much unless they can get filled out here. And does not. Does take the double there. Now almost set up for a Tetris. Set up for a Tetris. Hanging out for a long bar, level 20. Will the bar please make a grand appearance? No, will not. Has to cover up. Does get the bar to fill in that long bar dependency, though. And now set up again. Tetris for Lokenze to go to 486, 456 for RxS, who's also clean, taking good, safe burns here.
Oh my goodness, and So many good decision making here on 19,
Yes.
especially as we've already had 2 droughts with 19 speeds already.
Oh no.
Oh,
We got a little bit of a situation forming here on Arx's side of the board. Does get the bar all the way right.
situation on both sides.
Oh yeah.
A third drought there.
Oh, RXS is probably going to make it out of this, but Lokenze's board needing something left. Does get the bar. Oh, goodness gracious, that saved the game. Needs to uncover the right side now, but needs to get that jail where it does get it and brings the board all the way down. What a dig there from Lokenze. That was, again, some, patience, waiting for the right piece. Oh, no.
Pushing the limits of DAS here. But it is about a 30,000 point lead for Lokenze, and
520,000 to 493. RXS support starting to stack up. Needs a long bar all the way left. Gonna put a perfect L piece to bring this board down. What a good use of pieces there from RXS to once again keep the board low enough and safe. T-spin gets it.
Lokenze setting one up off the bottom as a
Yes, this is such a dangerous board for Lokenze. Gonna go ahead and take the delayed triple, but needs something left. Puts the square left. Is that gonna be enough? Has to get a long bar right. Gonna go ahead and J flat the right side. These are such good decisions, but this board really climbing now for Lokenze. Can't get the J right. That will be everything. We have a chase down. 572 is the score. 549 is RXS's current score. Needs to get to 573. Level 27 dirty board. This is not a gimme. Needs to get a little bit more, but the board is climbing. 10,000 points. Can anything go right? Nothing else can go right. Oh my goodness. Once again, level 27 all the way to the end here, and not going to be enough as Lokenze will take this game to a decider.
Who punches the other ticket to the finals? Let's find out. Counting down again in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Tetris.
Sorry, Jati, you're getting muted.
Jati said, decided.
The TTS bot. Wow, this game is almost neck and neck. They're almost tied up. No, okay. Can you believe every game starts as a tied game? It's always super close.
I'm so used to saying a million words during all of the Tetris matches I commentated, but I actually don't know what to say for once. This match has been everything you could ever ask for and more, and we still have another one to go.
Yeah, this has been some high quality Tetris from all players involved, all 4 players. And kind of almost don't want it to end, but I guess for one of these players it will have to, but for the other, they will have the privilege of playing for the championship. The Sub-Maxout Club Championship.
Yes.
You kind of wonder, like, at this point, there is still an actual possibility for 2 Sub-Maxouters to make the finals. Oh my goodness.
Can't say it's even been the best of RNG throughout this. That was almost a 30-piece drought there already.
Crazy. 105,000 now for 106,000 for Lokenze to 111,000 for RXS. So, all within a Tetris of each other here, as we're about almost 50 lines in.
Both players steady so far. Here's some online fast facts here from liptoneq. Did you know? The fun fact: every game has a runway of 1.5 million at 0 lines.
Wait, what? What's the fun fact? Sorry, I missed. Oh, 1.5 million at 0 lines.
Yep.
To 29, yeah.
Yes.
Oh, Siler's bored. Holding out for a long bar now. This is a dangerous board. Game of chicken here is holding out for the long bar. Not gonna come. Oh no.
It was another drought. And actually, we're going to see how long this drought is because it's still going on RxS. It was a 34-piece drought. Jeez Louise.
Wow. And just like that, RxS is moving on to the finals. Those were some seeds, man. Let's see. Those are rock fight seeds. And RxS coming out on top in that particular rock fight seed. And we'll move on to the finals. But what an effort from Lokenze. Obviously didn't end the way they wanted, but wow. Had to get to the kill screen just to get the 2 wins. Did so, basically, so. Well done.
Howdy, it's Arbaro, General Manager of Tetris for the Non-Pros. We're an online NES Tetris competition and community open to anyone with a personal best of 1 million or below. If you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe to see more like it and to help us get the word out. And if you want to play, participate, or just hang out, join our Discord server at tmp.tetris.lol.